Hello. In marketing, surprise is often expressed that emotion rather than reason can play a role in decision making. This indicates an outdated outlook in which reason is seen as the central aspect of decision making and emotion is often relegated to an occasional role. This outlook is particularly true of the academic approach to marketing, which finds it more convenient and comfortable to pretend that our framework for decisions is rational. This gives a really false perspective to marketing, because all current evidence and logic points to the emphasis being the other way around, with emotions at the core. I mean, such a convenient illusion of rational decision was a theme of economics until the arrival of behavioral economics. I mean, the roots of this attitude appear to be the common perception of reason as a sort of grammar of thought, rather than the grammar of discussion, which is its actual role. This distinction becomes clear when it's remembered that most thought takes place at an unconscious level, and reason, being a free framework, tends to operate at a conscious level. Consequently, the influence of reason over decision making tends to be limited, for, as neuroscientist Sam Harris said, the intention to do one thing and not another does not originate in consciousness, rather it appears in consciousness. The influence of the rational model of consumer behavior can have a toxic effect for many, particularly in academia. As Margaret Heffernan commented, until they have rationalized behavior, they do not feel they have really understood it. Given the evidence on behavior, this sounds a little bit like an oxymoron. I mean, the consideration of something from a rational viewpoint is linear, one point following on from another. But an idea that has been activated does not merely evoke one other idea which then leads to another in a logical sequence. Rather, it activates many ideas which in turn activate others. Only a few of these activated ideas will register in consciousness. So most of our thinking is silent, hidden from our conscious selves, and so from any rational analysis. There have been many examples of rationalization compromising decisions. Timothy Wilson of the University of Virginia did an experiment in which two groups of students were asked to choose their favorite posters from a selection of 5. One group was asked to simply choose, the other was asked to give reasons for their choices. This resulted in the posters selected being completely different. Those who had chosen with reasons subsequently showed little interest in their choices. Yet the illusion of rational explanations for behavior persists, particularly in the academic sphere. Much of the questioning of the rational model of thought is due to Daniel Kahneman and his distinction between System 1 and System 2 thinking. The former operates automatically and quickly, with little or no effort and no sense of voluntary control, whereas System 2 is more deliberative and where reasoning takes place. Also, he gave added weight to System 1 when he described it as the origin of most of the feelings and impressions which are the main sources of the beliefs and choices of System 2. So that even when reasoning is used, it is often governed by System 1 thinking. This was echoed in marketing by the comments of Alexander Segart, the managing director of a Swiss PR agency, who said, "We're successful because we know how to reduce information to the lowest level so people respond to it without thinking." A good example of their approach was this poster for a Swiss referendum on whether the building of minarets should be allowed. The "Ja" was for agreeing to ban them. Whatever the thoughts on the objectives of this campaign, it was highly successful. People could easily respond to it without thinking. So rather than lumbering rational explanations which are put forward for consumer behaviour, their actual behaviour appears much more capricious. Success in marketing can result from a simple single tipping point, as when pilchards were renamed Cornish sardines and the price fishermen were paid for them went up from 1.5 pence a kilo to £1 a kilo. There are also the cases in the IPA Effectiveness Awards, the most rigorous and extensive examples of marketing success, where the winners usually appear to have achieved success without submitting to the gauntlet of rational hoops so beloved of marketing academics. I mean, it's often difficult to find a rational explanation for such results, but this doesn't invalidate their success. When Lynn Truss, the author of a surprisingly successful bestseller on punctuation called Eats, Shoots and Leaves, was asked why it was successful, she replied, "Because lots of people bought it." Sometimes that's all that can be said, and there's no weakness in recognizing this reality. To search for spurious reasons gives the illusion of knowledge, something far more dangerous than admitting to there being no clear explanation. Overall, marketing could well heed the comment of Adlai Stevenson, who ran for US president twice in the 1950s. When an enthusiastic supporter said, "You have the support of every thinking American," his reply was, "Thank you, madam, but I need to win." Thank you.